Okay, good morning everyone and welcome to our first session here in M3 this morning. My name is Margaret Blade, I'm CEO of RDA Brisbane, so we're sort of a host of this event, and thank you very much for coming. I think everything's been said in the opening. I'd like to introduce our first workshop speaker here in M3 this morning, Liam Fahey. It's pronounced Fahey, just been told. So Liam's come all the way down from Rockhampton. He's one of our small business digital solutions advisors, and he has been from day dot, I think, since we started the program in Queensland in 2018. Now, Liam, he's a serial entrepreneur, so he's been in business since he's 18 years of age. He's an internationalist, so he deals with his businesses sort of run internationally as well as or globally as well as just in Australia. So Liam will talk to you. His topic, social media 2021. I mean, how topical is that? So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Liam Fahey to you.
Thanks, Margaret. Good morning, everyone. So many faces. Exciting to be here. Now, let's talk about social media in 2021. I don't think we can really start 2021. We're going to go way back to the beginning. The very first platform ever created. Now, who was on the first social media ever? No one? I'm not surprised. There's only 3.5 million users on 6 Degrees. Created in 1997. That was the very first social media platform as we know them today. After that, MySpace. Who was on MySpace? Few hands there. Before that, there was Friendster, 2002. 2004, big year for social media. What happened in 2004? Facebook began. Who has Facebook? Okay, the whole room. Yeah, I'd expected that one. In 2008, I was 18 years old. I started my first business with a focus on social media. Before that, I was doing refrigeration. I'm a qualified refrigeration mechanic. And at the time, I was a first-year apprentice. And I'd moved from Gladstone to Rockhampton. I had a bit of a disagreement with my boss in Gladstone that didn't end well. And I sort of set out the highlight of the fact that I'm completely unemployable. I'm best as boss, not as employee. So I moved to Rockhampton. I was making $6.50 an hour. My rent was $150 a week for a tiny little one-bedroom unit that you couldn't swing a cat in if you tried. And I needed to make some money because, like most 18-year-old men, I wanted to go out to the nightclubs and I wanted to meet ladies. I wanted to have a great time. And you couldn't do that with $10 left in your pocket at the end of the week. So I started my first business, which was creating content for nightclubs. Within 6 months, I had every single nightclub in town, all the major pubs, all the event places. And I had about 6 people working for me to do that. I was making more on a weekend, working a Saturday night, than I was working all week as a refrigeration mechanic. Still finished my trade, don't know why. But what I quickly realised was that everything that I was doing, creating photos, because at this time I just thought I was a photographer, taking photos of people enjoying themselves. But what I realised was I was a social marketer. I was a content creator. I was creating content that went onto the social media pages of those nightclubs, pubs, and event places so that people would interact and engage with that content. Then when that place put up what's happening that weekend, people would see it. It's the single most important principle that you're going to walk away with today. It's engagement. So let's start with a little bit about me. Wayne, that's your cue. Thanks very much to the tech guys at the back there. So when I first started my Facebook account, which was in 2007, I believe, I put some input into Facebook with who I was. You know, I put my date of birth. I put my sex. I put what I was interested in. And the very first thing it does is ask you to, connect with some of your friends. Now, Facebook does this because it wants to find out what you're interested in. Like all social media platforms, it works based on engagement. And the more you engage with it, the more money social media makes, the more that social media makes. It doesn't matter if it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. The more you scroll, the more you swipe, the more you click, the more you see. If I open up a Facebook tab now and scroll down, the very second thing on my Facebook is going to be an ad. Ad for zero. Facebook has just made a few cents. So as a business, they want to keep you engaged, and they want to keep you engaged for as long as possible. So as a business, you have to have engaging content. Now, my specialty is organic, which is putting content out there without any dollars on it. So I don't buy this ad space as much as I can help it. I want my content from my customers to come up first. I want it to be the very first thing you see. Just so happens that the very first post on my Facebook happens to be from one of my customers that I'm doing the case study on today. How about that? You cannot plan that. So this particular customer is a butcher. I'm very sorry to any vegans in the audience today or watching through the live stream. But the case study is on a butcher. Now, this butcher based in Rockhampton is called Parker's Quality Meats. Now, Reggie, the guy in the picture there, when I first met him, he just said to me, I want content to go up on my page every day. We developed a marketing plan for him, and the first year we worked with him, we doubled his business. We doubled it. The second year, we tripled it on the double. He has seen massive growth. And this is all without spending a single dollar with Facebook. It's purely organic. Who wants to know the secret? It's all about what you put into Facebook as a customer. The reason why 6 Degrees worked back in 1997, the reason why MySpace worked until they went under, the reason why Facebook works is because of people. It's because of what you put in to social media that marketers like me can engage with you and make businesses double, make businesses triple. Let's go forward a little bit. 2019, great year for business. Everything's looking great. I disappear overseas for a little bit. I come back. Get into 2020. Everything's looking great. This is going to be a booming year. There's a bit of a story in the news at the start of January about a new virus that's popping up in Wuhan in China. Yeah, it's just another SARS thing. It's not going to affect my business at all. So it goes down, and when it goes down, I'm in Singapore. I'm on my way back from Boracay. Just had a great week in Boracay, enjoying myself. I get to Singapore, Shanghai International Airport, the main hall is completely empty. There's normally 1,000 people in there easy any day of the week. The only guy that's in there is the cleaner, wondering what he's doing in there. And me standing there looking at them going, this is new, Snapchat. Empty. I get into Australia just before lockdown begins, just before quarantine. And I look into my emails and I get all these nervous emails. Look at my phone, I get all these phone calls from all my customers going, what's happening? What are we doing? What's happening with our business? COVID affected a lot of businesses. But if I take a teller of every single one of my clients, they're up. They made money last year. They profited. This year, they did better. Some of my businesses did so well, they didn't even qualify for JobKeeper. A little disappointed about that, some of them. I have a business that I work with, and it's a child center, a play center. You take your kids, and it's got a little coffee shop attached to it. They were the most scared. They got shut down, completely shut down. The week before they brought in that initial shutdown, I said to them, you're no longer a play center. You're a takeaway business. Start acting like it. By the time the lockdown came around, they were doing so many takeaways, they had to put on an additional chef. The ability to adapt is most important for businesses. In 2016, when I first started with ASBAS as an advisor, was the initial run of the program, I wrote a booklet on how to do Facebook for business. After 24 months, I had rewritten that booklet 13 times. Social media is rapidly adapting. If you're still doing the same strategy that you did last year, you're doing it wrong. But one core principle remains the same. And let me show you that now. Our butcher. Meat. This is the standard type of photo that I see from any business. It doesn't matter what the business is, cafe, shop, takeaway, plumber. It's a product shot. This is stock standard, it's generic, it's boring. It's not engaging. Who cares? If I scroll through Facebook, I'll see 100 of these type of photos in any given day. This is businesses trying to promote in a way that is generic, standard, and boring. And as you can see, the engagements show that. There's only a few likes on that post. There's very little interaction. Again, generic. A few more interactions. We prompted for interaction on this one. We asked them, who loves this? This is the most popular product that the shop sells. Interaction, minimal, few comments. I imagine for most of the businesses that's sitting in this room today, that if you've got a few comments and likes on it, you'd probably be excited. If I get this, I'm scared we're doing something wrong. What's different? Anyone? People. You can barely see the product in the shop. This isn't about what you're selling. It's not about the service you provide. It's not about that toilet you just fitted. It's not about that deck that you built. It's not about me standing in front of the room. You know, if you're taking a photo of me today and I see one happening there, it's not about that. It's about what is happening, what is going on. It's about the people, it's about the interaction, it's about the story. In 1997, with 6 Degrees, it was about the connection between people. Facebook is about connection between people. My personal Facebook, it's about the connection between people. It's the things that people share on my story. It's about what I share. My friends follow me, they interact with my page. You know, a story with my mum, my wife, and me, you know, from some trip that we were on 6 years ago. It's about that interaction, it's about that story, it's about that connection. If you're focusing on people in social media, you're doing it right. Now this post, this was one of the very first posts that we ever did for this butcher. And it was simple. It was about Reggie, the guy who owns it, his pick of the week. The product that he wants to present and what is special about it. Individually stuffed sirloins, roast. Great for slow cooking to tasty perfection. Available today at Parker's Quality Meats. And 77 engagements, a whole heap of comments, people going, oh, grab that while on your way home, husband. He's an award-winning sausage maker. Of course, we're going to do a post on that. Sausage King winner. Engagement. You know, 126 reactions plus. 1,890 people reached. Heaps of comments, heaps of shares. When you talk about engagement, getting your customer to engage with you, shares is the best thing ever. Because if I share a post from a business, then all my friends that engage with me are going to see that post on their wall. As a business owner, you want to hope that that thing that you are sharing is exciting. Again, barely see the product, see the engagement on it. If you're in a service-based business, get your apprentice to pull out his phone and take a photo of you as you're installing that toilet. It's going to go a lot further. If you're in a cafe, Showcase your barista. This is Susan. She did baristing in high school, went and did uni for a bit, came back to us, and now she works with us. She makes your coffee every morning, just the way you like it. Tell the stories of the people in your business. If you're a sole trader, grab someone, get them to take a photo, do a selfie. A product shot is boring. One other thing, if you're using stock photos, you're doing it even worse. If you take a stock photo, I know it's fake. It blends in, it's boring, it's what I see on Facebook every day. It's what I see on Instagram every day. Even less about the product. This is about the customer. The customer who came in and bought the product. Barely see the product. Huge engagement. This would probably be my all-time favorite post I've ever done on social media. This is Millie from Dingo. And, Millie came in, and Dingo's a tiny little town that's about 150 k's west of Rockhampton, where this business is. And Millie wanted to try the famous sausages she'd heard about. We put it up on social media with this post, and what happened next was amazing. We had so many customers travel 150 k's into Rockhampton to try this product from this butcher shop that we started creating cooler bags with the branding and the logo that they could take the product home in. It was that popular. We got so much more business from it. That contributed to the business doubling. One post, one story about one customer. And you might note you cannot see the product in the shot at all. It's not about what you're selling, it's about the people you're selling it to. It's about the people selling the product or the service. Cam's a hairdresser. She does my hair. 87 reactions, engagements. How's my hair? And again, huge draw. This worked. So this is what we were doing back in 2018. This is what worked. Let's have a look at it today. Let's have a look at the modern version. Here we go, Parkhurst Quality Meats. Let's go for a scroll. There's that post that we just seen. We're still putting forward the people. We're still telling the story with it. Still getting decent reactions and engagements. A little secret here. Once you get the post that goes well, click on the likes. You have the option to invite people who have interacted with your page but don't currently like it. That gets them onto your page. That gives them a little bit of attention. That gets them engaged. Here's a fun one. Straight or diagonal? How do you have your sausage on bread? Lots of comments, lots of engagements. It's a lot less than it used to be. That's to be expected. Facebook puts a bigger priority towards interpersonal relationships between you and your friends than they do with business. They expect you as business owners to spend dollars with them. But if I go to Reggie and I go, what's your dollars looking like? He goes, they're good. We're on our way up. Everything's moving forward as we would expect. Probably the biggest difference, if you've been paying attention, is that we're doing more multi-post. As you can see, this one is the shot of 3. Let's go back to the engagement. Engagement being the key thing here. And with this, I'm going to jump on and I'm going to show you my personal newsfeed preferences. I'm going to click the downwards facing arrow on the right-hand side. I'm going to come down to settings and privacy, and I'm going to go newsfeed preferences and go manage favorites. Open. Behave. Come on. Here we go. So at the top of this page is going to be the pages I interact with the most. And it starts out with my business, Lad Social. Then it's Parkhurst Quality Meats. Funny that. The post that I seen first, didn't I? As I come down, it's other businesses I work with. It's my wife. It's close friends of mine. It's Australia. We just finished producing a lot of work for Beef, so we're very engaged with their page. I was clicking on it a lot. I wanted to see the work that we'd done go up. Family, friends, mum, dad. Katrina, she's in this room somewhere. As I scroll down through this list, I'm going to start to come across people and businesses that I don't know who they are. It might have been someone I went to school with. It might have been like a friend from long ago. It might have been someone I used to work with. It might have been a past employee. As I go through this list, I'm going to come across people and businesses I don't engage with. Tyrone Fitzgerald, very, very good local photographer, does some amazing work. You've probably seen his art, even if you don't know the name that goes to it. I haven't talked to him in years. That's why he's way down the bottom of my list on Facebook. If I keep scrolling through here, I'm going to come across a business eventually that I don't engage with. There we go. Heritage Hotel, Rockhampton. It's a local pub. We used to work for them way back in 2008. If the Heritage Hotel puts up something on Facebook now, I'll never see it. It wouldn't matter how much scrolling I do, I'll never see it. But if I type in their page and I start liking a few of their photos, if I leave a comment, if I share something from it, if I click on a photo, I will then see what they put up. The same with Tyrone. If I go and I message Tyrone, I go, Tyrone, how's things been? You still doing photography? You got anything here that's cool? Facebook will go, Liam is interested in Tyrone and what he's got to share. And it will start showing me posts from it. So as a business owner, you want to be creating content that your customers are going to engage with. And remember that engagements are liking, tagging, sharing, clicking, or commenting. If you're struggling to get comments, you're struggling to get reactions, what you can always do is get clicks. If you put up 5 photos, 1 will be hidden. You've got to click and see more. That simple interaction of clicking and seeing more is going to get more engagement to your page. More engagement means more interest. More interest means more potential for dollars. As a marketer, I often get asked, how are you going to improve my business? Marketing is majority guesswork with experience. Nothing is guaranteed. In all the years I've been doing marketing, I've never made promises to my customers. I suggest to them that we can do things and we can test it out, but until we actually create the content, we do not know how our audience is going to adapt to it, how they're going to engage with it, whether they're going to be interested. But I follow the simple principles of 3. First one is branding. If your customers do not recognize your brand and know who you are, especially if you're purely an online brand, then they're never going to buy your product or your service. You got to have an element of trust. They've got to recognize your brand and go, okay, this brand is trustworthy. If we went way back in time, jumped in our time machine again, and went to Apple when it first started, you wouldn't know what the hell Apple was. Apple doesn't represent the fact that it's a tech company. We know it is because it's built its brand. We're familiar with it. We're familiar with how bad their product is when we drop it. We've got to replace the screen over and over again. I actually worked with a business who fixes phones. We directly only target Apple users because that's their market. So your customers have to know your brand. The best way of putting your brand forward is to introduce yourself. Take a photograph of yourself standing in front of your business. If you don't have a physical structure for your business, take a photograph of yourself standing in your office or wherever you do business. Introduce yourself to your customers so they know that you represent the brand. Put yourself forward. If you do that well, then your customers are going to relate to it. They're going to click on it and can draw a heap of engagement. This is always the first post that I do when I pick up a new client. It's the first photo our photographers take. Introducing Liam, Managing Director of Lab Social. Liam's been in business since 2008. In 2012, he became a company. In 2016, he started advising for the Australian Small Business Advisory Service. There you go, that's 3 lines about me. Final line, add something personal. Liam is the first person to shock a qualified flight instructor with the ability to be able to drift a 172 Cessna down a runway. He really thinks I should maybe quit flying now. Add something personal that your customers can then engage with, something that they can relate to. It can be something simple like on the weekend you like going fishing, or it can be something as complicated as drifting a 172. The next step after capability, the next step is capability. You got to let your customers know what you're capable of doing. Majority of businesses have a long list of services, as long as you are, long list of products. But if your customers aren't aware that you offer something, they're never going to buy it from you. How many times have you stood in front of a customer and gone, oh yeah, we do that? Because they've just asked, do you do this? If you get that, if you're in that situation, your customers do not know enough about your business. So you have to explain it to them, you have to teach them. And you can do that through social media. Something simple like our product of the week. Here's apprentice Andy fitting bifold doors for the first time. Those things are showcasing a capability. The story isn't about the bifold doors, it's about the apprentice Andy. But in the way of producing that, putting the putting the person forward, it's showcasing to them that here's a great interactive story, and they also do bifold doors. They'll walk away remembering something about your business. The reason why we exist as a society is because of social interactions. It's because of stories. Earlier in this year, Facebook got rid of all news articles on their Facebook. And it was a great time to be a social marketer because people were going online looking for stories and things of interest. We doubled up with the amount of stories that we told about our products, about our services, about our people, about our customers, because people were drawn in and wanting some sort of news, something that's going on in their community. So, second step, capability. Let your customers know what you're capable of doing for them. The final step, call to action. We need that phone call. We need that message. We need that foot traffic to walk into our shop. If you're not getting the foot traffic in, you're not doing your call to actions right. So traditionally, you do something like a loss leader, 2 for 1. Discount the product, let's switch you and bait you onto something different. Or it might be no call out fee if you're a tradie. There's always a way to get some sort of call to action. But your call to actions can be a lot simpler online. It can be, this product is limited. This offer is only for the first 2 people. Sound like those phone telemarketers where get this offer in 2 minutes. There's ways to do this on social media. Putting a person forward is always the best way. You've just done a job where you're fitting a new oven in someone's house. We have 2 spots left this week where we can fit new ovens. Find ways to use your existing customer base to leverage to get new customers. Now, normally around about this time, I sort of get the thought with, how do I get my customers to agree to be on camera? How do I get them to say, yeah, okay, you can take a photo of me in my house? Just say you're going to do it. Hey, can I take a photo to showcase, the work that we've done? Oh, can I get you in there? Show them the photo if they're happy with it, publish it. So now we're talking about publishing content. Well, let's have a look at that. Something went wrong. So scheduled tools. This is hands down my favorite feature that Facebook ever introduced. The ability to schedule content. What this means is that my creative teams can go around, photograph a whole heap of content. I can go to my copywriter, my editor, can get prepared, and then we can schedule it. Look at it, it's all ready to go. What that means is I can be making money and sitting on a beach in France drinking cocktails. Who doesn't want that? Through the power of social media, you can market your business and not be at your business. So what I like to do when I start talking about content creation is I like to print out a calendar. Jump online, print out a simple calendar with the days of the month. Then I write down beside that calendar all my products, all my services, everything that I want to promote about my business. Then I start filling in the boxes. Okay, on Monday, we're going to showcase Apprentice Andy. On Tuesday, we're going to have a photograph of us doing electrical wiring. On Wednesday, it's going to be about, safety switches in homes. Fill out your calendar and then start getting the content together. Task your staff to bring back one photo a week of something they did that you can then publish onto your social media the following week. You can live upload from your phone your photos straight into scheduled tools, into Creator Studio, so they can be there when you get back to your office. Have it organised, have it prepared. A dedicated approach to your social media is going to work best. Once you've filled out all the photos for that month, start on next month. Get ahead of the curve. Now, here's the trap. Don't post too much. I recommend a maximum of 1 post per day. There's nothing worse than spam. I hate getting spam. I hate it when you get an email, then another email, then another email. It's like, I haven't responded to the first one. Why do you keep sending me emails? I hate it when I see the same thing over and over and over again on Facebook for a targeted ad. If you're doing paid advertising, and paid advertising does have its place, set it so that it only shows to your audience once or twice in a week. That way you're not sending them the same thing over and over. You don't want to be boring. So, maximum of once per day. How many times per week? This is really going to depend on your business. It's really guesswork. I recommend 3 to 4 times per week is a good starting place. If free posts are working and you're seeing interaction, you're seeing engagement, then start tracking the most important measurable dollars. Likes, tags, shares, comments, clicks mean nothing. Dollars in the till is the only metric you should be going off for your marketing. You've got to get a return on investment. If you're spending dollars and not getting dollars back for it, and covering the cost and making you a profit, then you're doing your social media wrong. Rethink your strategy, rethink your approach. So we recommend 3 to 4 times per week is a good starting place. If people engaging with it and wanting more, go 5 times, go 6 times, go 7 times. If you start getting people reporting you for spam, start to lose engagement, drop down. Like I said, it's all guesswork. It's going to depend on your audience. Now, doing this was last year. There's heaps of people online. Everyone's at home working, attending to work, scrolling through Facebook. The engagement's massive. Oh, suddenly May's come along. May 2021, people are starting to go back to work. Your engagement's dropping. You have to adjust your strategy. Posting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon was perfect last year. This year, it's not. You have to try new times. Social media marketing is constant adaptation. Just because it works today doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow. Adjust the times you post. Try different styles of copy. Copy's the words that you use, the captions on your posts. Some nice photos coming up. I haven't seen them yet. So let's talk about that. Insights. These are the last 28 days of insights for Parkhurst Quality Meats. As you can see, this page has had 489 views. It's down 3%. So that's when someone jumps on and types in Parkhurst Quality Meats and actually looks at the Facebook feed, the wall. Actions on page, that's things like sending messages, going to the website, clicking the call. Page likes. We've got 52 new page likes. So we've got a new engaged audience that's engaging with our page. Our stories have reached 904. Stories is something that we're still testing with and playing with for this page. We haven't got it right yet. Our posts we reached 11,547 people with a big peak in the middle there. Whatever we posted on that day was very engaging. So what I do now is I'd go back and I'd have a look to see what posts we posted around that time, and I'd replicate that. I'd copy that because we know that our customers love that. If we post more of that, they're going to engage with it more. More engagement means more views. More views means more potential that our customers are going to purchase or buy our product. There we go, engagement. Normally, I'm looking for engagement of about 50% of reach. If you can maintain that 50% or near enough to that, that page will keep growing. Once it stops to drop down, 20%, 15% reach, you're losing your audience and you have to rethink your approach. Videos. Videos is an interesting one. Very few businesses do video well. If I put up a photo and my photo is good, I sell my message instantly. It's there, it's in front of me, picture. If I do video, I have to sell my message in the first 3 seconds to keep them engaged. Because videos, if you look at your video metrics, I could guarantee that nearly no one ever finishes watching your videos. You want something that's engaging, something that attracts attention immediately. If you're not doing videos well, don't do videos. Use photos. Again, photos sell your message instantly. Your customers see it, they know what's going on. If you're doing video, put whatever you want to promote first and foremost in the first second. Then put all the artsy, cool stuff later. Put yourself forward. So we had a really good post on this day. We can click on post and we can see what it is. Let's just say it's this one, new in the cabinet from PQM. Paid promotion. Paid promotion, if you have a page that's struggling, can be beneficial just to get yourself off the ground or to re-engage your audience or to engage a new audience. The beautiful thing about Facebook is that it gives every single business the ability to promote to their customers on the same level that an international business can. In that, you spend dollars, you reach customers. And it can be from as little as $1.32 per day. Now, if I can spend $1.32 and reach the right customers, is that worth it? Definitely, that is very good return. So who are our right customers? I'm going to select this post. I'm going to come down, I'm going to click on Boost Post. Now I'm using Boost as my example, but it's not the best way to promote your business. Ads Manager, creating ads Boost is the easy way out, but it has the same functionality in terms of targeting audiences. So let's click on Boost Post. Got the option to add a button, call to action. Send a message. Let's get some messages into my inbox. Audience. Let's pick out an audience. So by default, it's gone Rockhampton, 18 to 65, all genders, and a 10-mile radius. Now, it's going to be in miles because Americans do not know how to count in lots of 100. As you can see, by default, the lowest you can go is 10 miles. But we're a small local business. We only want to target people in our immediate neighbourhood. We're a cafe. We just want to target people who are walking up and down the street. So let's get rid of that. And let's go to Brisbane, seeing as that's where we are today. Harvey Bay, Gympie. I've come a long way, haven't I? Okay, so I think we're somewhere in South Bank, which for locals, I think we're somewhere around there. Brilliant. Let's drop a pin. Oh, there we go, Brisbane Convention Centre. We've dropped a pin. By default, it's going back to the 10 miles. We're targeting all of Brisbane there. We don't want to do that. We can now drop that down to 1 mile. That's a pretty good neighbourhood. Sort of our immediate area. Okay, so we don't want to target everyone. We don't want 18-year-olds to, come to our coffee shop and make a lot of noise. Let's go with 39 to 65. Let's make that a little smaller. Let's go to 50. And let's only target females. Our audience is now 25,000 people. That's still too many. I don't want to target 25,000 females between those ages. I want a very precise market that I'm trying to direct my advertising towards. So let's go into demographics. I want parents. And I want parents with toddlers because we're a cafe and we're doing a promotion on baby chinos. So we want to target mums with toddlers. Down the bottom here now, something exciting's happened. It's now said that my audience is too specific to be shown. It will be shown, ignore that. But let's make it a little bit broader as well. Let's add preteens. Let's add parents with preschoolers. Now, how does Facebook know that I have kids? Every single mum is guilty of taking that picture of her newborn and putting it online. They all do it. If you don't do it, grandma does it because she's all very excited for her first grandbaby. So Facebook then goes, oh, you have children. Let me just log that in our data of who you are. So Facebook now knows that you have kids. And me as a marketer can target it. More often than not, the wording, but the AI system has got very advanced with the photos. And I'll actually come back to that one, but brilliant question. So we also want to target interests. It's not just good enough that we want to target mums. We want to target mums that have an interest in food and drink, in particular, coffee. Maybe energy drinks too, especially if you're a bit sleep deprived. Okay, our audience is bumped up a little bit, but let's go with that. So we've now got a very defined audience, and I'll make a note here that you've got options as well, targeting people who just like your page. Now this is really good for retargeting those past customers. So if I was the Heritage Hotel, if I wanted to re-engage Liam, who doesn't currently see anything, I'd just target people who like my page currently. It's a re-engagement campaign. You can also target people who like your page and the friends of people who like your page. If you think way back into the very start of this thing, where I brought up the profile for myself, I mentioned to you that when you first go onto Facebook, it asks you to add your friends. Because people who are interested in one thing tend to have friends who are interested in the same thing. I have friends who are interested in flying. So Facebook knows if it targets me for something about flying, it can target my friends because they have a similar interest. If you have a very broad-based business, it's a lot easier to target people based on interest. If you have a very narrow business where you're selling scopes for rifles, it might be a little bit harder to find the same sort of friendship. But there's opportunity there for sure. Which tab we're on? So we've picked out our audience, now we're talking budget. The minimum budget. $1.31. I was close. $1.32, I'm giving them extra cent. 51 to 150 people per day for $1.32 spent. If you can hit the right 50 people, how beneficial is that? I work with coffee shops. Coffee shop customer acquisition cost, how much they're going to spend to acquire one customer to walk through the door and buy that cup of coffee, it's cents in the dollar. Ideally, they want to re-engage that customer and have that customer keep coming back, but that's sales. That's once they're through the door. Purely talking just customer acquisition cost, spending $1.32 and hitting your exact market is perfect. It's not enough just to take a photo and create an ad. You've got to make sure that that photograph that you take to promote baby chinos is a shot that they're going to relate to. So you want the photo of Susan. Susan with her 4-year-old Sally and her 1-year-old Joseph. Loves coming into local coffee shop, relaxing amongst the palms in the courtyard and having a quiet moment as the kids sip on a baby chino. I think you can all picture what the image would look like for that. You want to create a visual through your words, through your pictures that your customers are going to engage with. Now, if you're taking photographs, loading them up into Photoshop or Canva and putting a little pretty text all over it, you're doing it wrong as well. That looks like generic advertising. If you walk away with one key message in your head today as you leave this room, it should be that if I'm doing the same thing as everyone else, I'm doing it wrong. Social media for a business is about standing apart. How many coffee shops are within a 5-kilometre radius of where I'm standing right now? 10, 20, 30? If they're all doing the same thing on social media, they're not standing apart. When you see the post, it's no different to the last 3 posts you've just seen. You've got to be exciting. You've got to do something different. And that means doing the most scary thing as an adult you can do. Asking strangers if you can take their photo. Ask your customers to be involved with your social media plan. If you engage your customers, engage your staff to be a part of your social media, then you create a culture around that. Customers will expect to come and go, oh, I could be this week's focused person of the week that goes onto the social media. I have a builder, very, very young builder. He's 23. He has 6 staff working for him, 6 tradies, a couple of apprentices. And this has all happened in the last 14 months. 14 months ago, I met Aaron Flanagan, and he was building pool decks. So how did I take him from being a guy building pool decks, a couple $1,000 type job, to building and doing renovations on multi-million-dollar hotels, building brand new hardwood homes, doing the renovations of my place, which he still hasn't finished. I did this by putting him first. I showcased him. I got him to talk on camera, do videos, got photographs of him. I showcased who he is. Boom, apprentice comes along. Apprentice Andy. We had a bit of fun with Andy. He now talks on camera, does a great job. Every new employee he gets, as part of the requirement of being an employee, is that they have to be involved with the social media. They're doing a job at a customer's house, they're going to get a photograph of the customer with their little kid cycling down the path, that they've just concreted. They get them involved. So by the looks of it, we're getting to the point where we're going to ask questions. And that's perfect timing, Margaret, because I am wrapping up. So I want you to think about your social media. I want you to think about your approach, and I want you to do something different. Have a look at what everyone else is doing, then find out a way to do it different. Keep yourself first and foremost. Showcase yourself. If you're not happy with how you look, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be the most prettiest person to be on social media. You just have to tell a real and true story. Put yourself first, then put your staff first, then put your customers onto your social media. But there's one key thing that hasn't changed since 1997 when 6 Degrees first started, is that social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, WeChat, any others that I can't think about right now. The one thing that's always the same is that it's always been about people. So don't lose that. Make it about people. What you did last year is not going to work this year. But if you put people in there, it will still work to some degree. Adjust your strategies, make new changes. Question?
You mentioned that you can boost the code and you send them out to people that you like and who like your code.
Yes, so the ability to reach customers through boosting is very limited. You want to be using Facebook Ads Manager. So a little hard to get into these days. Let me quickly see if I can do it. Ad Center. Easiest way to do it is go into Facebook, then type in Ads Manager, Ads Manager /, and it'll bring up Ads Manager. Ads Manager is way more powerful. It has the options in there to allow you to be able to set the number of people that you reach and limit the number of times they see it. So I think it's in this option. Yeah, it might be the next page. Here we go, delivery. Show more options, frequency cap. Default 1 impression every 7 days. You can set that to 1 impression every day. The nice thing is that if you're setting up an ad about baby chinos, and that's a campaign you run on Tuesday, you can set your ads to only run on Tuesday mornings through your scheduling tools. You just got to set a lifetime budget for that. Questions?
Social media is kind of, from my perspective, how do you establish an audience to start with? So if you're starting on page 0 or you're starting with 0, how do you get that audience? Do you have to pay to play?
Initially, and I've done this a few times, leverage friends and family. Put up a post going, hey, I'm Liam, I've just started a brand new business. I'm doing this product, this service. Get a photograph of yourself doing or holding your product and ask your friends to share it. Their friends should then hopefully share it and you should get some word out there. Assuming that you are a complete loner and you have no friends, then a paid strategy to get in front of your audience is a good starting place.
Just on that paid strategy, I find that Facebook is promising to show it to so many people when they show it to like people like that. And so you don't mind spending $20 if it's actually going to be seen by several thousand people.
Yeah, so Facebook gives you a variation of how many people it's going to show it to, 50 to 150 for $1.32. And a lot of factors come into this. How many people are online, what else is going on in your environment. I've had campaigns where I've spent $100 and I've reached way more people than I expect. And I've had campaigns where I've reached way less. The quality of your content does come into play. If you have a high quality content, it gets picked up more. You got to remember that Facebook wants to keep people on social media. So it wants to show them things that they're interested in. So if you're producing a low quality piece of content or you're trying to target a market that's not engaged, you're going to get less results from it.
What's the best way to find out your return on investment?
Normally, how I track return on investment is I look at the dollars in the till.
Yes.
So I'll go into more detail. So if you're creating a campaign and it's purely online sale, you can use cookies, pixels on Facebook to track how many people actually went through to your website and then how many people actually purchased it from the ad that you created. As a local business, we use the turn on, turn off method. In that, okay, it's busy and we're running marketing, let's turn the marketing off for a day and see what happens. We can track the sales figures and see a little dip. We know that the marketing is still working effectively. We launch a big new campaign, we see the dollars go up. We know that the marketing is working effectively. There's environmental factors always with any sort of physical sales. But the other thing you can do is you can use codes. Baby Chino, mention this on Facebook and get a free marshmallow. Customers come in, they mention the thing they've seen on Facebook, a little tick on your little piece of paper that you keep by the till, track how many people came in. Again, dollars in the till, it's the only metric that really matters with sales. If you're doing ad campaigns and your dollars are going up, you're doing it right. If you do an ad campaign, your dollars aren't changing, it's a waste of time.
Liam, with your client base, do you tend to do most mostly with your team or do you have a lot of clients doing their own?
Yeah, so Great question. Through our company, we offer 3 different levels. One where we just come and consult and explain how to actually take a photo and do it right. The second one is our teams come and do the photographs. We pass it on to the business to actually do the posting. And the third one, our schedule team does the posting. So different options suit different businesses. Some businesses we go in once a month, shoot a whole heap of content with our team, and we've got 5 full-time members as my team. And we'll put together all the content, package it with the copy, and send it to the customer. Because then they'll use that photo of the guy in the armchair when they're ready to promote those armchairs. They might not get stock in for another week. I'll quickly show you my team. So what we do, our capability, commercial video, real estate, event, 3D scanning, ASBAS, our client portfolio, mixture of big and small businesses, government, internationalists, all the fun stuff. But what I'm most proud of is my team. Creatives, visual effects, photography, copywriters, producers. That's the team that puts together our content. And the content that we produce is bang on because of the team that we have. But way back when I first started, it was just me with the camera. And as much as getting a full team in to produce a video is cool, if you're a small business, you have the tool. It's in your pocket. You can create cool stuff with this. I have a $16,000 camera. It's a 1DX Canon. It's a flagship model. It's my favorite camera. Absolutely love it. But the best post I've ever taken on social media came off my Samsung. You can do a lot with your mobile phone. Time for more questions?
Briefly, the principle that you talk about here with Facebook, are they transferable to other platforms like LinkedIn?
Yeah, definitely all platforms, social is key. Facebook's the biggest one, so it's the one I focus on. The Instagram is much the same, but you need a more stylized approach to Instagram to be seen. That's more what's standard. If you go into TikTok, again, it's all about people. Animals too, but people more so. Boost promote. Ads manager. Ads manager all the time. Good question.
Video covers. Any news on that?
Yeah, video covers is going. It's mostly gone on the majority of pages that we manage. There's no sort of indication they bring it back. From what I understand, they took it out to make the platform run faster. Because trying to load up every time you go to a page can be a bit slow. And Facebook's trying to access markets at the moment that are more than just first world and second world countries. They're trying to get an established base in countries like Africa, mainly Ethiopia. Ethiopia just completed a major works. It's rapidly industrializing. Final question? Okay, so I'll finish off with just one last thing. I am ASBAS advisor. The Australian Small Business Advisory Service is a fantastic program, and you can get an hour of my time. I believe there's someone up the front that can sign you up and sort it out with you.
Great, thanks very much for that, Liam. I mean, I took notes on the program. I'm going to have to replace that in this folder and take it with me. Has everyone else got a lot out of that session? It was terrific. Yeah, so join me in thanking Liam. And as Liam said, he's one of our small business digital solutions advisors. So it's heavily subsidised by the federal government. So if this is your first time with ASPAS, you can probably get an hour with him for free. And a lot more than what his commercial rates would be. So, so Liam, along with a lot of the other people that are presenting this morning, are members of our ASPAS Digital Advisory team. And so, Liam, you're running some more sessions today as well?
Yes, so this afternoon I'm doing a session on Instagram and influence.
Great, don't miss that. Okay, and we're breaking for morning tea now. And the next session, we've got 6 rooms running. Everyone's got a copy of the program. So the next session will start at 10 to 11. Thank you.